What's up, you all? How's everybody doing tonight? We're going to revisit the Breasia, Terrell, and Henry Dinkins, I guess, case. And I this case stuck out to me, and I'll recap a bit about the case. Basically, there was a young lady who had a child with a guy. She had a 8-year-old son with this guy. One day in the summertime, the mother reaches out to the baby's father and says, "Your son wants to have a relationship with you." So I guess they make plans for the son to go over there that night. Now, initially, it was supposed to be the son going with his father, but the son wanted his 10-year-old sister to go, and then the 13-year-old wanted to go with both of them. Henry Dinkins told the 13-year-old that he could not go because the Camaro didn't have enough room in it, which we know it did because the Camaro has at least bare minimum 4 seats. Anyway, and the 2 of the children are small. They could have sat in the back, but he did not want the 13-year-old to go. So we have Breasia Terrell, and we have the other son's name is DL, and they go with the father. And during the time she's there with the father at his girlfriend's apartment, the young girl comes up missing. So it was a big deal. This young girl supposedly vanished in the middle of the night. And to make a long story short, Henry just got convicted 2 consecutive life sentences for first-degree murder and kidnapping. We're just dissecting the case right now, and I'm just talking about how all of the things that God tries to keep us from, this is the stuff that happens. The scripture that says that there's a way unto man that seemeth right, but in the end are the ways of death. And so you got to understand that everybody has something that seems right. What's going on seems right, but in the end of that seeming right, the end is death. And so bad behavior leads to bad decisions, bad choices, which leads to ultimately death. But we left off on his interrogation, and he's not a very good liar. He doesn't think fast enough to lie good. And so what he tried to do was a whole bunch of stuff to cause confusion, and then you wouldn't be able to pinpoint it and put it on him. He tried to do a whole bunch of stuff to make you look at this, and this, but ultimately it didn't work. But let's get back to this interrogation. Okay, let's go.
I just answered it just now.
Okay. Yeah, around figure. And so then you leave, but everyone still in those same like kind of areas when you leave?
No, when I was there.
When you left?
Yeah, when I left, ain't nobody came out of no room.
Yeah, everyone was.
Everybody was still, situated. Notorious was before I left. Notorious was still playing the game, and I went in there, and he said he was done playing the game, so I turned the TV off, and he went to sleep. And then, I went in another room. Uh, Sat around for a while, bored. Left, came back.
How long were you gone for?
I don't know, probably so 45 minutes to an hour, 30 minutes. I don't know, somewhere around there.
Okay, and then you come back, and then kind of what do you do when you get back? Nothing. Did you like just go to bed, or did
no?
You
I wasn't
stay in the living room.
I was in the living room. I wasn't even
Okay.
tired.
Yeah.
But I period like when I was there, I periodically checked them to make sure it was good in there because we had the air conditioner on, so I unplug it because it gets too cold.
Okay.
So
This is a tactic that is used where the person tried to make you believe. Somebody said the sound is low. Let me try to, let me see. Let me see if the sound may be low on YouTube. No, it's up as far as it'll go. Let me go to another. Let me go. Let me try to. Let me see. Let me see. Maybe I can try the Court TV version. Let me see. Yeah, it's a lot louder.
I'm glad you're able to make it down. I'm not.
I was gonna come down, man.
Okay. Let me just speed it up a little bit. So notice what he said. It should be louder now. Notice what he said. He said that I was periodically checking on them to make sure they were okay because we had the AC running and I want to make sure they weren't cold. This is a tactic that most of these offenders use, that they make you believe they care about these children. If Henry Dinkins really cared about his children, he wouldn't have been absent from his son's life. So again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize he's BS. He's BSing, I should say. Notice how he's sitting in the little corner. He's all shriveled up because he doesn't want to show any body language. He's trying to be very strategic in the way he's positioning himself. Just want y'all to see it real quick. If you look at his body language, he's almost like a little human turtle, like a ninja turtle. He's trying to keep himself kind of composed as to not, give off any real emotions. I'll check my email for you, A Honeycut. But anyway, this is the interrogation. And from this interrogation, they knew something was wrong. I'm going to just play clips from this real quick, and then I'm going to go to the judge, what the judge said.
What do you mean sitting right there?
It was sitting right there. Well, now on the table on the. I was like, I was scared at you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? But I didn't think it was like this serious. Confused.
Okay. And so you get back, and then we put a time frame in between at least, like
after hours. It was probably after hours. It was probably like closer. I don't remember the time. I'm not gonna
12 to 2.
I didn't even. The reason why I don't remember the time is because I didn't have my phone.
Gotcha. Where's your phone at?
Now I want you to think about this for a second. Who doesn't know the time? Like, a roundabout time that you're operating. The roundabout time. Like, how do you not know the time that you supposedly left looking for a missing child? Like, again, this whole interrogation gave the police alarm because, first of all, he was absent. Once he met the police at the apartment, he was gone for almost 4 hours. When that police officer went into that apartment, he left for 4 hours, no contact. So we have all this time where he has no contact. This little girl is missing, and this guy is literally saying stuff that doesn't make any sense. If a child was really missing in a house, you're going to cut on every light. You're going to wake everybody up. Where is such and such? And I also say that, again, he was up. The reason why he's not showing any compassion for this young lady, this girl, not young lady, this child, is because she rejected him. Let me ask you all a question. Since everybody wants to empathize with child molesters and child predators and all this stuff, they never tell you what happens when the child says no. these people that do this, they never tell you what happens when the child says no. What's the next phase of the interaction? If these people, and this is how you know it's satanic and it's demonic, it's a spirit. If you're attracted to a child that's 10 years old and you make a sexual advance to that child and that child says no, what's the end result? Are you going to say, okay, I respect your wishes? Just think about that. Think about what is the next phase if the child says no. They never talk about the child saying no. What's the next stage? So he with his little girl and she says no, now what? You know she's going to tell, and you didn't get your rocks off. So now what you going to do? Anger, frustration. But let's continue.
It was sitting right there on the table, and I mean.
What do you mean sitting right there on the table?
It was sitting right there. Well, not on the table, I think it was sitting on a ledge.
In the apartment, though.
In the apartment.
But you were in the apartment, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No, but when I left, I didn't have my phone.
When you left to
go down to Little Vince's.
Little Vince's, okay. But then you got back.
When I got back.
Okay.
And I know it's a fast food place.
Okay.
And when I said, when I talked to her on the phone, she was like, quit playing with me. You know what I mean? Stop playing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not playing with you, man. I'm keeping this shit real. Because at first she thought it was a joke. And I told her, this is not a joke.
Now, in this portion of the interview, the mother testifies and said that he texted her and said, is Breasia with you? And that's why she said, quit playing. She thought it was a joke because of what he said. He said, is Breasia with you? That's why she thought it was a joke. He's leaving that part out. And this stuff comes out in trial when she's talking about the first initial interaction with him hitting her up. But you just heard him say right here that she thought it was a joke. Well, she thought it was a joke because of what you said to her. Is Breasia with you?
You know what I'm saying? And that's when she said, well, there's only one person here at the job. So I said, all right, you got to get off. You got to get off. You got to get off. You got to get off right now. So.
And you just left your phone in
first in order to call him. And I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? But anybody, when I go through, that's why I got it in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember, man. I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Your mobile home at all?
Yes, me and Lil Dink went down there.
You.
So the crazy part about this is after he's committed this crime, he brings his son to the crime scene. And it's almost, if I can think about it from a psychological standpoint, it's almost like he wanted someone there to comfort him, like he wanted a friend there with him. So he brings his son to the crime scene. Listen, this case rocked Davenport. It rocked Davenport. I'm going to show you what the police chief said when he found out everything. But this rocked Davenport, but he took his son to the crime. Now imagine this, him taking his son to the crime scene of his sister / best friend that he's murdered. This is a sick individual. But remember, when they're trying to go in front of Congress and plead with Congress for these people to be called minor attracted persons, just remember, when the child says no, what does the adult do? Because what they're going to say is that what these people have, they were born with. They're already setting you up to saying, I was born in the wrong body. I was born the wrong gender. I was born. They already setting you up. So if a person is born attracted to children, how can we really punish them? This is the argument they're going to make. The argument I'm going to make is when they make an advance at a child and the child says no, what are they going to do next? What are they going to do next? Bare minimum, these people know what they're doing is wrong. Because being attracted to a child does not mean you can't respect and honor the child. What do you mean, Blanche? What I mean is, like, if a person has a disposition to want to be with children, they can still not act on it. It's no different than a person that has a disposition to want to steal. So what they're trying to set up is you don't need self-control, because self-control means that you can control whatever is inside of you. So if we get rid of self-control, now every action can be called a what? A disease or a sickness or a condition or whatever. This is what they're trying to set us up for. This is what they're setting us up for. Let's continue.
This morning?
Yeah. And then once we was looking, you know what I'm saying? We got to looking, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I needed to grab, what was it that I grabbed up out of there? I think it was a couple dollars, whatever it was that I needed. Some money.
So
Because I was starting
was
to
that
get-
before or after you saw Aisha?
I saw Aisha. I don't remember, man. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I mean, shit. It was. I seen Aisha. Me and Dink went out, and then we seen Aisha.
Okay.
Because I was starting to get low on gas, and I needed to grab a few dollars to start the house. That's why I got it on my pocket.
You know, they talk about, I encourage you all, I really do, to watch these interrogations. You know, they say, I had a friend of mine tell me that a girl he used to date, she used to think that the system was racist and it was rigged. She said until she became a lawyer. She said when she became a lawyer, a public defender, she said the system ain't rigged. She said these folks just guilty. I encourage you all to watch interrogations. When Black folks get interrogated, you like, it's almost like they just instead of just saying, no, I want a lawyer, they're trying to, again, I say this all the time, when white people get caught and got to go to court, they try to win the case. When Black folks get caught and got to go to court, they're trying to avoid punishment. Two different approaches. What Henry Dinkins should have did was he should have just said, I want a lawyer. But the problem is he wants to avoid punishment, which is why he killed the girl in the first place, because she was going to tell on him. Remember, we said her grandmother said that Breasia was a truth teller. That is different than a person that doesn't tell a lie. A truth teller is going to make it their business to make sure you know the truth. That's what she was known for, the truth teller. So he knew she was going to tell. So to avoid punishment, he shoots her 2 times in the chest and once in the face. Now, again, what he should have did was not say anything and said, I want a lawyer. I want a lawyer. Now, it's hard to piece all this stuff together without this interrogation. But this interrogation, plus the talking on the camera, the body cam footage, pretty much sealed his fate. As you all can see right now, he's guilty as charged just based on this interrogation. It's not even an interrogation, it's asking him simple questions and he can't answer them. But let's continue.
That's so I can continue to like just ride, you know what I mean? And I was like I said, I was gonna ride until I couldn't ride no more. You know what I mean? So
and then so Aisha makes contact with you over the phone, and you're down.
I made contact with Aisha.
Yeah, you called her after.
Then
was there a reason why you weren't answering your phone or text messages or anything?
No, because my phone was trying to get a hold of you. No, not at this time. Not at this time. My phone be acting up sometimes.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck it is about this phone, but sometimes I gotta text people first in order to call them. And I don't understand that.
Now, I want you to hear what he just said. If I was the police, when he said this, we'll play it again. This man just said, my phone is weird. I have to text people before I call them. Let's play it again.
Or text messages or anything?
No, because my phone, trying to get a hold of you? No, not at this time. Not at this time. My phone be acting up sometimes.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck it is about this phone, but sometimes I gotta text people first in order to call them. And I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying?
If I was the police, when he said, if I was the police and he said, my phone be acting up sometimes, I have to text people before I call them, I would have tased them right then and I would have handcuffed them and I would have took him to the cell. This man just said, I have to text people before I call them. I would have tased him. I would have gotten in trouble. I would have gotten in trouble. I would have stood up. I would have tased him. I would have pulled my stick out. I would have beat him with the stick, put the handcuffs on him. I did all that once he said that. My phone is weird. I have to text people before I call them. I would have got in trouble for this one. Let's continue.
But anybody, you know, when I go through it and see it, you know what I'm saying? Because when I was moving around, I really my mind really wasn't on the phone. You know what I'm saying? My mind was on Aisha phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know what I'm saying, she found her or something, but anybody else phone call I really wasn't concerned about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't worrying about no other phone call but Aisha. But at first, Aisha said she tried to call me a couple times. You know what I'm saying? It didn't ring. You know what I mean? But once I looked at the phone and I called her back, you know what I'm saying?
So now you got a phone that you have to text before you call people, and now when they call you, it doesn't even ring. You got a text to call, but when they call, it doesn't ring. So again, this interrogation pretty much sealed his fate because he didn't have a jury. And see, he thought the judge was going to be non-emotional. He felt like the juries would have been tainted. The jurors would have been tainted by the publicity of the case. So he says, I need to get a judge because he felt like a judge would look at the facts. The problem is that the judge is a one-stop shop. So the judge is going to watch this interrogation. The judge is going to watch this interrogation. How many times did you just say, I don't know what time I left here, I came back, I don't like. The judge is watching all of this. The judge has seen thousands of interrogations. And what folks don't give the system credit for is the system sees this stuff every single day. They interact with criminals every single day. They know what your body language is saying. They know what it means when you sit up. They know what it means when you slouch over. They know what it means when you grab your hands. They know what it means when you tap your feet. There is literally nonverbal communication being had throughout every interrogation. But they want you to believe that it's the system. That it's just the system. That the black folks just walking down the street, minding their business, just getting thrown in the cell and that's it. No. 99.9% of people that are incarcerated are guilty. Every now and then there's folks there that's innocent. But when I say they're innocent, they may be innocent of that crime. That don't mean they're innocent of crime. They're innocent of that crime. Just like the guy they got locked up for 16 years and he didn't do it. And the police shot him, the guy in Georgia, during that traffic stop. What they didn't tell you was that the guy's rap sheet was longer than the Nile River. Assaults, battery, everything. He was just innocent of that crime. It was a whole bunch of other crimes he was guilty for. But again, that's what we get into reaping and sowing. The world likes to call it what goes around comes around. I think the Indians call it karma. So these folks that get locked up, they may be innocent of the crime, but they're not innocent. But let's continue.
And once I got to talking to Aisha.
And so when you said you meet us at the station, where'd you go after that?
To my sisters.
To your sisters?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Out by the cemetery.
Like on Eastern? Or...
Out by the cemetery.
Do you know the address?
No, I don't.
What's your sister's name?
Neither.
He doesn't know his sister's address. Imagine a judge watching this interrogation. He didn't know his phone number. He didn't know his son's last name. He didn't know where he went and looked for Breasia. He didn't know what time. And now he doesn't know where his sister lives. This is crazy. This is crazy. And imagine a judge watching this. You all are watching this now. What do you all think? He's guilty. See, what he thought he was going to be able to get him with the technicalities. They don't have a murder weapon. They don't have a body. They don't have a motive. So the state was very good. I'm going to play this. I'm going to play what the prosecution said. But the state was very good because the motive they gave was that he had sexually assaulted her and she was going to tell. So the state gave it a motive. Normally in a first-degree murder case, you got to have motive and it has to be solid. Because it wasn't really a motive, they had to use his sex offender past to say what he did to Breasia. And we already know that the little boy said they was in the room playing the jumping game. He and her were in the room while the son was out in the living room playing a video game. So you got your son over at the house, but you in the room with a little girl and your girlfriend and your son out there in the living room. The mother is catching all kind of heat from this, as she should. It is your job as a parent to know who's around your child. And if that man didn't have the decency to want to be around his own son, why in the world would you want him around your daughter? And she even went by the apartment to bring them a change of clothes. Do you think she ain't tortured? I feel sorry for her, I do. I feel sorry for her. Because all that bad behavior, all that decadence, all that indulgence of Black culture, it caught up with her. And it caught up with her in the form of her daughter's life being lost. She went to that apartment and dropped those clothes off. That was the last time she saw her daughter. Tortured. Let's continue.
Need
What my sister got to do with this?
well, just
She wasn't.
so I know the address, so I can look it up. You know what I mean?
McQuay.
McQuay.
Yes.
Can you spell that for me?
NCQUAY.
Nita is just NITA.
NITA.
So then you went there, but you said they were out of town. You didn't make any contact there.
No.
And then where'd you go after that?
Here.
Here. Okay.
Here.
Oh, and then.
Well, they told me to give them. Well, I talked to the officer.
Okay, listen. This doesn't make any sense. Why would you go to your sister's house if they were out of town? If she was out of town, why would you go to her house? That means you would have had to call her to know that she was out of town. So if you called her, then why would you go? Doesn't make any sense. And again, a judge is going to be watching this. We're going to get to the prosecution.
I said, well, I want to at least have my mom and my sister come down with me. She said, okay, well, just be down here by, I think it was the female. She said, come down by, can you be down there by 12? I said, yeah, I can make it down there by 12. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So when I left from there, when I left from my sister's house, I came straight here.
Okay. And then, so how is.
Now, keep in mind, Aisha, his baby mother, testified that he told her that he was going down to the police station. And her uncle tells her, don't go by that. You need to go file a police report. The uncle didn't trust him. Because the uncle knew something was up because it didn't make any sense. And he told her, I'm going to police, and he didn't go to the police station. He went about 3 hours later. He told her at 9, I think at 9 something. But let's continue.
Is your car not here? You know what I mean?
I came straight here.
I get that, but the car that you were driving was the Impala, and the Impala's not here.
I didn't say I was driving the Impala.
Well, you came in the Impala.
I never said I was driving the Impala.
So you left the apartments in the Impala, right?
Yes.
Okay. So at what point did you not have the Impala anymore?
What do that got to do with the Impala? I mean,
because you left there in a vehicle, and that's.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it harder on you.
Yeah, I get it.
But I mean, literally, as for the situation with the driving aspect, you know,
I'm not looking for the driving. I'm looking for the car.
I'm keeping that solo with it.
No, that's fine. I'm more concerned about the car.
I mean, if you want to check the car, you can check the car.
Yeah, we would like to do that.
Yes, probably. You can, without a problem.
Where is the car currently?
It's reachable.
Reachable as in.
I can get it to you guys at any time. That's basically what I'm saying.
And also to backtrack.
I mean, one thing about me, like I said, if I had any issues, I would have never came down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna, pull.
Now, keep in mind, they later found the car about 2 blocks from the police station. So what he did was he parked 2 blocks away and he walked there. So he lied. Like, the problem is he got caught in so many lies. And there's no reason for a person to lie as much as they're innocent. Remember what I say, that guilty people act guilty. There's no reason to lie this much in an interview. It's just no reason to. This man is lying. He can't keep up with the lies. There's so many lies. Why are you lying?
You know what I'm saying? No extra, but when it come down to the, you know how I feel about the balance equation.
And I know that, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just trying to figure out
what I'm saying is
your back trail of when you left the police asked you to stay there and you left, and all of a sudden there's this car you left in, but now we don't know where the car is.
You understand? Yeah, but if you want to search the car, I can bring the car to search for you.
And I'm just trying to also backtrack, like where. I mean, you don't have to say you're driving the car.
That's my mom. I know they probably downstairs. It says restricted.
Now, this man is in his 50s. This man is in his 50s talking about, I want my mom and my sister to come down here with me. Why? Think about this. This is a grown man in his 50s. Why would he need his mother and sister to come down to the police precinct with him? This is what I talk about when I talk about the black man having arrested development. This is what I mean. Even though he's a grown male, he's still a child. His mind, when it comes to critical thinking, is that of a child. Basic thinking, he can operate like a man, but critical thought, he reverts back to adolescence. He wants his mother and sister to comfort him while he's going for an interview to talk about a little girl that he supposedly raised and loves. Doesn't make any sense. But keep in mind, as a judge is watching this. Now think about this. Think about watching this with no emotions. All you're looking at is the facts. The facts say that what he's saying doesn't make any sense. If I was a police officer, I would have been tased him. He'd have been tased, beat. I'd have got in trouble. I'd have my knee on his neck. It would have already been done. It'd have been knee on the neck, tase, nightstick, the whole works. I would have got in trouble. Let's continue.
Oh. Hi, how are you? This is Angela from the warranty department. The reason I'm calling.
Yeah, you can clear that out.
Bunch of junk there. Yeah. But it also helps just make me understand your route that you took, because you had the car and then you didn't. I just want to know where that transition took place.
It's reachable, bro. I just say it like that.
But you don't want to talk about how you eventually switched vehicles, or
never switched. I mean, that was like, I ain't switching no vehicles.
Okay.
Why would I switch a vehicle?
But then so someone else was with you in the car?
But why would I switch vehicles? Where do you get to switch vehicles at?
Because so the Impala, you left the apartment, okay? And then now you're here at the station, but the Impala's not here.
It's around. I'll say it that way. It's around.
Okay.
It's around.
Around the block somewhere.
It's around.
Okay. That helps me better understand.
Yeah, I mean, I as for the driver,
and I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about Breasia, right?
Right. Yeah. But it's the point that, me.
I know you don't want to get in trouble for something that's when you're trying to find Breasia. I get that 100%. And so, but you can't think of, I mean, you've checked a lot of areas, and you haven't been around. I don't,
but see, like, I think Bree and Dink said that they cousin TT or somebody lived in that area somewhere around there. I don't remember.
TT?
No, their cousin or TT or somebody. I know.
And he just making up stuff. He's making up stuff. He's just not even answering questions. It's just, and again, I challenge anyone to go look at these interrogations. Just go watch them. If you think these men are being wrongly treated, just go watch the interrogations. And you're going to be like, this dude, like, just go watch, just go hear from the horse's mouth and see how easy these cases are to solve. Easy to solve. So right here, he gave him maps of the areas that he said he went to. So he's asking him to show him specifically where he was looking for Breasia. Now, I know Henry Dinkins, when he did this, he was thinking that he was smarter than the police. He's thinking they won't find a weapon, they won't find a body, they don't have any motive. All they have is circumstantial evidence and they won't be able to convict me. Is what he's thinking. Just like the average person thinks they are smarter than Satan, and they're not. The Bible says, resist the devil and he will flee. Trying to outsmart the devil isn't a tactic. The Bible says, resist the devil and he will flee. That means that the devil, when he comes to you, is going to be using some type of influence you will have to resist. But most people think either that they're smarter than Satan or he doesn't exist. But let's continue. Looking like one of them kids in the classroom that can't do the work. Just looking at it. Don't know what he's looking at. He don't even know what he's looking at. North, west, east. He don't even know. He's just glassing. He don't know what he's doing. Look at him. Looking like LeBron on that first page of that Malcolm X book. On the first page for 3 weeks. He on the same page looking. He's thinking if I draw something on here, they're going to hold me to it. So I can't draw anything. I can't mark anything on here because they're going to get me. Look at him. He don't know what to do. Shaking like a leaf.
Why are you looking at me to do my password?
Well, that's what I asked.
No, I said I will open it for you.
Yeah,
but I'm
I'm
not going to give you my password.
Okay.
I will open it for you so you can look in my phone, but I'm not going to give you my password.
Okay. And then you're just going to lock it?
Yes, right after you finish looking.
Yeah.
I will let you look in there. I have no problem with you looking.
Okay.
That's something I don't have no problem.
Okay.
Oh my. So let me get this straight. You don't know your phone number. You got a text to call people. Your phone doesn't ring, and you don't know your password either. Oh my goodness, man. You got to. This is a very tragic case, but you got to laugh to keep from crying, man. This man said, what's my hold up. You can't look at me put my password in and you don't even know it. Just imagine telling a police officer, I don't want you to see my password, but I don't know it either. This is just absolute foolishness. It's foolishness. Oh my goodness. This is hilarious.
Damn, what the fuck is it? My mind ain't not even on my phone.
You recently got this phone too, though, right? Yeah.
No, I had this phone for a minute, but
I thought, just a new phone number?
yeah, no, this number.
Because you said you didn't know it. That's why I was.
I don't know my number. All I know is 72726.
Right.
Why you still watching? I don't want to open it then, bro.
You know?
Not if you staring into me while I'm trying to get my number.
What I'm doing is I'm.
Oh This little girl is missing. And this man is making more fuss about his cell phone than he is Breasia. And I told you all that when it came to Breasia, that he was upset with her. I watch these shows and stuff, these court cases, these interrogations. I watch this stuff, and I really be getting into the mind of the criminal, man. And these people be actually upset. Like he was upset that she said she was going to tell. He was upset that she rejected him. So I just know that he's angry with her right now because he's blaming her for all this stuff right now. He's blaming her. When he was in locked up, and one of the witnesses, two of the witnesses said, he said that they're never going to find that girl. Or never going to find her. To me, that's a very telling statement because you would have said, oh no, like you said, you raised her. That's like your daughter. You would have had an emotional attachment to even watching it on TV. Like you would have had you'd have been like, oh, I hope they find her. Oh, I miss my baby. Like it would have been some kind of emotional thing attached to the news saying they're still looking for her. But saying they're not going to find her, matter of fact, it alarmed the guy so much that he told the guard. Him making that statement alarmed the guy so much that he told the guard. One of the guys that testified wasn't even locked up anymore. He had no incentive to do what he did. No incentive. But the other guy said it alarmed him so much. He said the way he said it, it made him go tell the guards. Hey, I think that guy has something to do with it. Because think about it. If that was your baby, you'd have been like, not my, like it would just have been an emotional attachment to it. But let's continue.
Making sure that you're not going in and deleting anything. That's what my concern.
Why would I delete something?
You never know with guys. Trust me.
No.
It happens.
I mean, as soon as I open it, I'll give it to you.
Sounds good.
So you can look at it.
Yep. Yeah.
No. Let me try one more time. You only get so many tries.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, cool.
Now, what do you want to look at?
Gonna,
I can show you anything and everything.
was there? Gotcha.
I just don't want nobody all in my phone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it don't matter, but I just don't like people.
Well, it does. It does matter.
No, you miss what I'm saying.
Okay.
When I say it don't matter, when I say that, I'm saying like, you know what I'm saying? If you right here in my presence, you can do what the heck you want with my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to know what you're doing with my phone.
Okay.
That's all.
Gotcha.
And this police officer right here, he does a masterful job because he's not offensive. He's not raising his voice. He's not threatening. He's just asking questions, matter of factly, just jotting down. Like he's very unassuming. He's just very, and his strategy is excellent because you actually let Henry Dinkins put himself in a corner he can't get out of. You ask simple questions that he can't answer. You re-ask the same questions and he can't answer them. Then you re-ask and he changes the story up. Like you just let him talk. You just don't, you oblige him. I'll stand over here. I won't hover over you. I'll let you. And then, just great. And it ain't even interrogation. It's an interview. Not even interrogation. It's interview. But excellent work. Yeah, I know I would have tased him already though, but excellent work.
I mean, it ain't nothing that I'm hiding in my phone or anything like that. That is not. I would like, if you like, okay, let's connect it to something. Okay, I want to see what you're doing with my phone. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
nothing personal.
to be able to download, we would need the passcode, but
Like I said,
which just helps speed up any suspicion we would have.
But I don't understand how I got suspicious with my own kids, man. These are my kids.
No,
you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I'm just saying it would clear any suspicion, right?
Listen, I mean, I know you know your job. You know what I'm saying? And I know what you have to do. I know what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have no issues with that period. But these are my kids, bro.
Mm-hmm.
These are my kids. You know what I'm saying? These are mine.
Yeah. Now, this is what really is going to put the nail in the coffin for him. He said, these are my kids. But you already admitted that your baby's mother wanted you to spend time with your son at his request. Your son requested to spend time with you because he don't see you. So you've already stated that you don't even see your son. There's no way you see Breasia. So to sit in this interrogation room and say, these are my kids, as to take ownership is a dead giveaway for a judge. It's just a dead giveaway. Like you're lying. If you cared about these children that much, this would have never happened because you would have been constantly seeing your son. Breasia and her brother would have constantly been with you. They'd have been riding around with you and everything. You would have had all three of the kids. If you was really who you say you are, you would have had all three of those children because the 13-year-old is 3 years older than Breasia. So that means when you met Aisha, Breasia was 2, other little boy was 5. You notice when he said, I raised them, he don't mention the 5-year-old who is now 13. He doesn't include all 3 children, but all 3 children would have been there when you were quote unquote raising them. It's a dead giveaway.
I'm really confused. I wish I would have been staying in my same state of mind where I was saying no all the time.
What do you mean by that?
You know what I'm saying? Like Aisha, I blocked her where she couldn't even call me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's saying no. Because me and her have bad communication sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because of the person who she was talking to. You know what I'm saying? And just call us.
So you blocked the baby mother. So now we know for sure you weren't spending time with the children because you had the baby mama blocked. Let's continue.
But now she's not talking to that person no more. So it opened up our communication again. You know what I mean? So I mean,
anyone you can think of that would try to take Breasia?
Why? For what reason?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Now listen to what he says about Bree. Listen to what he says about Bree.
You know better than I would, right?
The only person who would know better than me would be Aisha.
Yeah. But you can't think of anyone that would take her.
I can't see no reason why.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Bree's a good kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's a good kid. You know what I'm saying? She's definitely a good kid.
Okay.
Definitely a good kid.
Then before
you heard what he said? He said Bree's a good kid. She's definitely a good kid. Bree's a good kid. Think about that. Now, this is your baby that you raised. Now, if I'm her teacher and I say Bree's a good student, yeah, it makes sense. But you're like her father figure. She's more than a good kid. That's my baby. She's a gift from God. Oh, Bree's a good kid. Bree's a good kid. He shot that girl because she was going to tell on him. He got angry. That's why I asked the question when it comes to these minor attractive people, what happens when the child says no? Let's continue.
You might have mentioned, I might have missed it. When you went to Vince's after y'all already went home from Vince's,
Saying that, she had him. You know what I mean? And my baby mama, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I know she feels some type of way behind it. You know what I'm saying? But like I told her, you know what I'm saying? She like, Henry, you should have had more of a watch. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never have to watch my kids like that. You know what I'm saying? Never.
mm-hmm.
Even when I used to keep her in Bree.
Yeah.
I mean, Bree ending. You know what I'm saying? I never have to. Because my kids, you know what I'm saying, we communicate. You know what I'm saying? So I really.
Here we go. He about to start acting. Here we go.
You're breathing kind of heavy. Is it? You just
I smoke a lot.
smoke a lot.
And then I'm,
Gotcha.
you know what I'm saying, thinking about my baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like. It's rough, bro. It's rough. Even though she ain't my biological, but she's still my baby. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's rough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I kind of like, you know what I'm saying, think about it. You know what I'm saying? But I try to not.
What do you think?
And then I got asthma too, so.
Yeah. What do you think happened?
Big bro, I don't even know. I mean, I'm not gonna even try to even put a thumb on it, a finger on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say something that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because our communication was good all day.
With Bree?
With both.
With both as in
Dink and Bree.
Yeah.
Both my kids been A1 all day.
Okay.
A1 all day, bro.
And then
all day A1.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm kind of like stopped up, congested a little bit too. So
yeah, gotcha.
This is like.
Well, I can assure you, there's a bunch of people right now with the department.
Now, did y'all catch that? Now, y'all catch that? He said, you're breathing kind of heavy. He says, I smoke a lot. Then he started talking about, that's my baby, that's my baby. Then he goes back to, I got asthma. That's my baby. I miss it. We got to find my baby. Then he goes, I'm stopped up and congested. Think about it. Why would he keep going back to the officer saying you're breathing heavy? Why? Think about it. You're talking about your child that's missing. Your baby is gone. Breathing heavy should be normal. Why wasn't his response, I just lost I don't know where my child is. I'm panicking. Think about it. Why wouldn't he say, I just lost my child? Of course I'm breathing heavy. Why was his response, I miss my baby. I smoke a lot. I miss my baby. I miss my baby. I got asthma. I miss my baby. I miss my baby. I'm stopped up and congested. Because he knows that breathing heavy is a sign of guilt. Guilt. There's no reason for this man to keep going back to this breathing heavy thing. Let's continue.
Going out there, trying to do what we
I
can.
hope, pray to God that they find my baby. You know what I mean? Because
Look at him. Look at him, y'all. Look at him. Too fat to cry. Look at him.
we need her home.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
We need her home.
Yep. And
is, and I know, like I said, I know I blames me because I should have had more watch over. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I know my baby mama. You know what I'm saying? She is like furious at me. Like I never seen her this mad at me ever.
Yeah.
But she got reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like if I would have had custody of my kids and I leave them over there and something happened, whether they busted.
Another tactic that you see is he tries to cry. He tries to muster up emotion. He hides his face, puts his face down. We need her home. Tries to make himself cry. Not one tear fell. Face is just as dry. He tries to rub his eyes. Says baby mama is upset with me, but you know I know she has good reason to. I should have had better watch. Like these are all tactics used to make you believe that he cares about the child. He doesn't though. That's why it comes off so disingenuous because he actually is upset with Breasia that this had to happen. Imagine in his mind, she's the cause of all of this. So he has to do all of this because she didn't want to do what he wanted her to do. So that's why it's so hard for him to muster up compassion for her because he's really upset with her. That's why he shot her 2 times in the chest and shot her in the face. He's upset. So let me go to the oh, I see your email. Where is my oh man. I'm looking for I don't know where my that's weird. I don't see all my notes I had. I don't see my notes I have from oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm sorry. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So I'm gonna be skipping through this, but this prosecutor is excellent. She looks like a little librarian, but excellent. I'm talking about so meticulous. He couldn't have got a worse prosecutor, a more worse prosecutor in this case for him. This was very bad for him because she is meticulous. Meticulous. I mean, meticulous.
Was going to be gathering up his sons to leave. The conversation developed into Breasia being interested and wanting to come along. Aisha Langford had described that Breasia and DL were very, very close as siblings, and quite honestly, they were attached at the hip, and it would not have been a surprise to her that DL would want his sister to go along with him. And so the conversation developed wherein Mr. Dinkins had consented to Breasia coming along, but what was very interesting about that conversation is this. CS, the 13-year-old child and the teenager out of the group, wanted to be able to come along and Mr. Dinkins would not allow him to accompany DL and his sister. Danita Gardner, during her testimony, spoke to that particular issue, as she spoke to the fact that Aisha had no idea that Breasia actually ended up leaving her residence and accompanying Mr. Dinkins. But at any rate, that prompted a telephone call wherein Miss Gardner had advised her daughter that Breasia actually was going to go and spend time with Mr. Dinkins, her younger brother, and that once she got off work, she would need to pack up clothing to take over to the apartment that Mr. Dinkin shared with Andrea Culberson there at Jersey Meadows apartment, which we now know as apartment number 8. Aisha Langford, she gets off work. She goes to her mother's residence, and I think one of the things.
Do y'all hear how detailed she is? Do you hear how, like, and the whole, when I tell you she's meticulous, I'm talking about times like this, like he couldn't have had, this was his worst nightmare, somebody like this, somebody that was this detailed. Everything you said and did, like she is on top of everything. If you ever get in trouble, if I ever get in trouble, I'm going to her. This woman right here, she gonna get you off. She gonna get you off. Let me fast forward a little bit.
Went back to her mother's. She packed up clothing for the children, and she went over to the apartment complex from the perspective of DL, Breasia, Mr. Dinkins, and Andrea Culberson. So, when Mr. Dinkins picked the children up, we know that he went over to the 700 block of Taylor Street. That's one of the things that the officers had talked about, where he went to a relative's house, Vince Howard. The children hung out there with a couple of little girls. There were the adult male figures that were there. The children were playing video games. And then after that visit concluded, the 3 subjects, Mr. Dinkins, Breasia, and DL, went over to Andrea Culberson's apartment. That's the apartment that Mr. Dinkins shared with Andrea Culberson. Now, I want to talk about the visit to Taylor Street, and here's why. You know, when we stop and consider the testimony that came out through the course of this trial, as far as individuals who could provide statements about what happened during the middle of the night of July 10th at apartment number 8, there at the Jersey Meadow apartment complex, we have an 8-year-old child, and then we have Andrea Culberson, the adult. There's been a lot of discussion, you know, about a child who's 8 years old and their ability to be able to recollect events, to be able to sequence.
So now we see that he didn't want the 13-year-old to go because it would have been a lot harder to do this in front of a 13-year-old because he'd be able to articulate what actually happened. So, you know, Breasia wouldn't say anything. He knows Andrea Culberson wouldn't say anything. So it really leaves DL, who's 8 years old, who's half asleep. Now, one thing that needs to be noted is that that little boy, when his sister wasn't in that apartment in the wee hours of the morning, he told Andrea, "Let me call my mom." Andrea said no. So that little 8-year-old boy said, "I need to call my mom." She said no. And I told you all before that I believe all the violations took place at that apartment. The only thing that makes sense for that girl to be outside of that car waiting is if they was about to leave the apartment. It doesn't make sense for them to come back to the apartment and she be outside of that car where people could see. It only makes sense if they're leaving the apartment. That's why he said he had to rush back into the house and he grabbed the clothes and the gun. But Andrea Culberson knew something happened at that apartment. That's why she would not let that little boy call his mom on her phone. Had DL called his mom, this whole thing is blown up. Had he called his mom when he asked her to call, had he did it, and all this gets blown up. But she told him no. Let's continue.
Those events to be able to understand even what's going on. And during the course of interviews that you conduct of an 8-year-old, why is it that if you do an initial sit down with a child provides some details, but then when you extend that out, then the child is able to bring about more details. The point that the state is going to make about DL is this. Everything that child described happening in his interviews formed the investigative construct for steps taken by officers of the Davenport Police Department in the investigation that they conducted.
So basically what she's saying is that based on that boy's testimony is how they started the investigation. It was based on him saying, because I put the battery in the phone at the Walmart. That explains why they got that one ping at the Walmart on the cell phone tower. We went down and met with some fishermen. My dad's car got stuck. All that stuff is why they started their investigation. So this little boy's testimony is the reason they were even in court in the first place. Had this little boy not said anything, what would they have? Let's continue. I'm gonna just fast forward a little bit.
Apartment and conducted a search. What was Mr. Dinkins' response? We've already searched the area. Officer Burkle persists. So Henry Dinkins then goes over to apartment 8, and rather than walking into that apartment where he clearly lives as described by Andrea Culberson, and he even has a closet that contains only his clothing, he knocks there at the door as if he would simply be a guest and he would have to wait for the tenant of that apartment to come down and answer.
What she's saying is very key. What she's saying is very key. The reason why he knocked on that door, he was acting like he didn't live there. So in other words, if this thing goes south, now keep in mind, I'm gonna say this too. He told one of those inmates that testified that Andrea Culberson was into child trafficking. So in other words, again, he told the other guy, he said, Andrea is into child trafficking. Why they look at her? This is what he said. So he knocks on the door to act like he doesn't live there. So now if y'all find anything, this is not my place. I'm just visiting like they're visiting. So that puts him on the same level as Breasia and DL's, and they're just visiting Andrea. This attorney is very good. She's excellent. If y'all ever get in trouble, look this woman up.
The door. Miss Culberson comes down the stairs. Officer Brookles right there at that front door. He has the conversation with Miss Culberson about being able to go in and search, and explained, he had lost his own children like a child the week before. She's very hesitant. She looks out the door. Mr. Dinkins isn't right there by Officer Burkle. He's several feet down the sidewalk near the corner of the building. Miss Culberson looks out and says, is it okay with him? As if she's got to get permission. And Officer Burkle says yes. And then she says, well, the apartment's a mess. The court had an opportunity to see the apartment. Quite honestly, it wasn't a mess. And then Officer Burkle goes out.
Guilty people act guilty. Why would that woman lie and say that the apartment was a mess? Now, notice I told y'all before that everybody wore white t-shirts. Andrea wore a big white 4X t-shirt. Breasia had a big white 4X t-shirt. DL had a big white 4X t-shirt. I don't know why that bothers me, but it does. Why are they all wearing these big shirts and they have their own pajamas? The fact that she looks out and asks him, think about it, this is her apartment. But she looks out and asks Dinkins, is it okay? So in court, she described herself as being submissive to Dinkins. Even when she asked him about what's going on, he didn't talk to her. The little girl was gone. She's like, what's going on? Take your phone. So she should have got in trouble. But I believe, this is my theory is that she told them what really happened, what she observed. And they probably said, okay, then you testify to seeing the girl out, because basically you kind of offer a kind of immunity if she says, okay, I thought some things were inappropriate what they were doing, but I didn't want to say anything, but I did, like, you know what I'm saying? So they just needed her to put that little girl outside of the apartment by the car with Dinkins. That's why they asked, did he leave when she was gone? But I believe she saw a little girl leave with him. And that's why she asked him what's going on. He didn't want to talk to her. Because from the time they leave the apartment to the time she was supposedly dead, it really wasn't that long. It really wasn't that much time because they had to travel there. Like, it really wasn't that much time. I believe the violations happened there, and she said she was going to tell. Or she said, I want to call my mom. That little girl said something to send him into panic mode. Let's continue.
Breasia's not there, but Henry Dinkins leaves the apartment complex and nobody can find him. All right? So let's go back into the equation of the discussion that we had. Andrea makes it known to Mr. Dinkins that she is awake and she knows he's gone and she knows Breasia's gone.
I would listen. I want to sue Metaverse, even the folks I'm on platform I'm on right now. I want to sue these folks for defamation of character, for demonetization, for violation of free speech. I want to sue these people, and I believe that this woman right here would win me the case. Because once they subpoenaed all the records from YouTube, from Facebook, Metaverse, Instagram, like once they got the records and to show the suppression, to show how when he gets a follower, he loses a follower, to show the algorithm, to show it, like she would be able to, she would slice it and dice it up, I'd win. I'd win. With this woman right here, I would win. I'm going to find out her name. I'd win. I'm speaking on the Breasia Terrell case. Breasia Terrell and Henry Dinkins. But I would use her to sue these platforms because this woman right here, it's a guaranteed victory. She is so meticulous, so methodical, everything in order. And I know she would pinpoint and show this is when this oh my goodness. I want this woman right here. I want her. You're right, Kenya. I'm going to pray for it. I am. I want her.
Mr. Dinkins is not responding in any way to give information to her about what is going on. He goes into the bedroom to his closet and he digs in the closet. The court's been able to see the relationship of the bed to the closet on what would be the right side of that bed. Andrea Culberson describes going to the window, looking out onto the parking lot, and there the maroon Chevy Impala is parked. Breasia is standing right next to the passenger side of that vehicle. There's no question in her mind that it's Breasia. She talked about how she has very distinctive hair, but also she talked about how the child had been dressed in this white big t-shirt of Mr. Dinkins. Breasia's there. She can't see what Mr. Dinkins is getting out of his closet, but he puts it away in his clothing in such a way that she doesn't know what he's gotten out of the closet. Now, to take the court's attention back to testimony that she had offered here in court, and also testimony that DL had offered here in court, they both talked about how he had been wearing a black shirt. I throw that out because that is consistent with what Jared Brink had testified to when he had the contact with that black male subject over there on Highway 61, and then when he drove him over to the area of 270th Avenue. I also bring that up for this reason. There was much ado being made about the fact that Mr. Dinkins was wearing that white t-shirt, a man's undershirt that had no sleeves on it, when we see him going into the quick shop and leaving. But then Mr. Brink is describing the black male subject having on some type of black shirt. The state went to photographs taken of articles removed from that vehicle. What do we see? We see an article of black clothing that had been taken out of the front passenger compartment. We also see a box of clothing in the rear portion of that trunk. To be able to pull an article of clothing out, put it on, take it off is something that's very easy to do. But I bring that up because I think it's very important to mention before the state forgets that. So
I imagine right here he's talking about, I'm gonna play another video when I do this next time, and I'm gonna show you how Andrea was probably lying about seeing him in his black shirt, because there's timestamps on when he went from that store to the house. In that store, he had the wife beater on. I think he had the wife beater on he probably didn't change till later. But anyway, that's what he's probably talking to his lawyer about right now, when he actually changed his clothes. I do think Andrea was lying in some of her testimony, because that would be the only way not to implement herself and implicate herself. I believe that the violations took place at that apartment, and when she saw her outside, that's when they was leaving. And she's probably like, where you going with that girl? Where y'all going? Let's continue.
when Mr. Dinkins goes down that staircase, Andrea Culberson looks out, the Impala's gone, Mr. Dinkins gone, and Breasia's gone. She was asked specifically when she looked out and saw Breasia there, did you see any activity in the parking lot? None. Any individuals around? None. Those questions were asked because the assertion being from defense is that if Andrea did not see Mr. Dinkins get into that Impala, if Andrea did not see Breasia get into that Impala, then there's no evidence to show that Breasia was with Henry Dinkins, and the state absolutely disagrees with that. That sequence of events and the observations of Andrea Culberson absolutely answers that question. Mr. Dinkins left Jersey Meadow apartment complex with Breasia in the car, and we know that Breasia is still alive at 3:30. But what has happened before 3:30 and before Andrea's discovery that Breasia is missing? DL gives us a perspective. He talks about being asleep. He talks about how he's kicked very hard by his sister. There was a discussion about, is this simply a sibling who's rolling around, and maybe they touched. No, this was different. This hurt. And then DL, while he didn't recollect that during his testimony, when he was interviewed on June 10th, described noticing his sister missing, hearing his father's voice, peeking out the bedroom, and seeing his father go down those stairs with Breasia and talking with her about cars. An interesting point.
So the little boy testifies that he heard his father talking with Breasia about cars or something. So when they were leaving, the little boy saw them leaving. But again, you have sleep, but they talking about cars. Now, I want you to pay attention. Well, watch this. Pay attention.
That the child brings up when Aisha Langford says that Mr. Dinkins only comes around when he gets a new car or he gets a new girlfriend. So, what's happened between or before 3 a.m.? So between the time that everybody's gone down to bed, with DL being the last individual in that house to fall asleep, what has happened between that time frame and 3 o'clock when Andrea makes the discovery? Now, before I talk about this, I want...
Y'all heard what she said. She said that they always talked about he liked to show off. So one of his bragging points was his cars. And Aisha said he would only come around when he got a new girlfriend or a new car. So him trying to entice Breasia with a car or whatever, something happened. Either he told that girl, I gotta switch. I don't know what he told her, but something happened in that apartment before they left. And Andrea knows. You talk about change, how you some action, I'll help. I don't know what that means. You talk about change, how you some action. I don't know what that means, sir. I'm sorry.
Hi, Mark Barden at Sandy Hook Promise.
Okay. Then we go down and we see that vehicle south on Schmidt Road and look at the shape of the vehicle. It is similar. That's at 2:30. Then the vehicle turns around at 2:31 going back north. So something is happening that makes that vehicle turn around within a time frame of a minute. So at 2:31, it's going back north on Schmidt Road. Then we have the camera at Devon Self-Storage motion activated, and we can see the vehicle now leaving the area of Mr. Dinkin's motorhome at 2:49. This particular video feed, when the court had the ability to observe it up on the screen, we got a better perspective of what type of vehicle was leaving that lot. And it was consistent with a passenger vehicle.
So at 2:49, they had him at his mobile home. So they're going to say that they believe that Breasia was with him during all of this. Me personally, I just don't know, because it doesn't make sense for her to be. The thing that's bothering me is it being outside the car. Like, why would she be outside the car if he's going into the? It doesn't make any sense. Only thing I can think is if either she said she thought they was going back into the apartment. Well, then why wouldn't she get back in the car? Like, why would she just be standing outside of the car unless that's not true? Unless it's not true. And I believe if she did leave the apartment, that she left before 3. If that makes sense. Based on his driving around patterns, if that little girl left that apartment, it was before 3. And she was actually up waiting for Dinkins when he got home, when he came back, because Breasia wasn't there. See, I believe, now think about it now, they were supposedly laying on an air mattress. If any of you all have been on an air mattress with somebody, as soon as you move, you're going to wake somebody up because the air mattress is so unstable. But they were supposedly on an air mattress sleep. Now, you know, once he gets up, he weighs 290 pounds. Andrea probably weighs maybe $160, $170. She's short. But my point is, once he moves on that air mattress, the air mattress might even flip her up in the air. So I know when he got up during the night, she woke up. So she had to have seen this. Again, I believe the testimony she gave was given to not implicate herself, in my opinion. Oh, thank you so much, Rena Bina. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
So 249, it's leaving, then we've got it south on Schmidt Road at 250. So between 231 and 249, we're talking about 18 minutes. 18 minutes back in that area, plus an additional 16 minutes. So what's that giving us? That's giving us 34 minutes. What is going on in this RV over the course of 34 minutes?
So this is what they're saying, is that in the RV, they were in the RV for 34 minutes. Again, I believe that the girls left the house a lot earlier if she left. I believe. If he's doing all this driving around and the little boy said he saw him leave, I just feel like something ain't adding up. I honestly don't believe Andrew even saw her on the side of that car. I believe Andrea saw them when they left if they left when they left, which was before 3. Now, he may have ran back in the house with that girl in the car, but I think Andrew's lying about that. I do. They were at this mobile home for 34 minutes. In my mind, I'm thinking this is cleanup mode. I'm just saying, it's cleanup mode. Let's continue.
The court knows that this particular RV is not equipped for anybody to live there. There was no food in the refrigerator. There is no way to hook that RV up to water or anything at all. There certainly were personal items that were being stored there. There's a bed there that has bedding on it. There's clothing and shoes and things like that. And this is a location that is attributable to being Mr. Dinkin's RV. But then when it leaves south on Schmidt Road, It goes on to Credit Island, entering Credit Island at 2:51, and then leaving Credit Island at 2:53. All right.
Now, so he went to the place where she was found deceased for 3 minutes, for 2 minutes. What did he do for 2 minutes? She could have already been dead. He could have did this right here. He could have did it right there in that 2 minutes. You do it, you leave, and then you come back. I don't know. Something just ain't adding up. I just don't trust Andrea's testimony. Something is not adding up. But let's continue.
That was a topic of discussion that came up with Detective Obert. And what was going on in this area of town. And I would ask the court to draw on its own recollection about how they were focusing on any type of cell activity to determine whether or not there was activity in that area with other individuals. And there was. So there's two photographs that I want to point out to the court. The top photograph is the perspective worth of gas.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Will Cole.
He got some little bitty eyes, don't he?
A very important point to discuss here at this juncture is the fact that he presented a $100 bill. And then he got a $40-some back. I'm not quite sure what that figure is. I bring that up because then we need to go full circle back to his interview with Detective Obert. When he was asked by Detective Obert what his activities consisted during the middle of the night of July 10th, he acknowledged that he left the apartment 3 times. So would have left and came back. He said that he went over to Vince Howard's house, knocked on the door, nobody was there, he came back. Then he indicated that he wasn't sure, wouldn't give us a time frame, but he was out of money. He only had a couple of dollars, and he may have gone over to his RV to get some money. Clearly, he didn't need money because he was able to present a $100 bill there at the quick shop, and he still had $40-some after he made the purchases in addition to the gas. And then he was able to make the purchase there at the Walmart in Clinton after 7 a.m. of over $8. But then I would also note that even when Jared Brink pulled him out, he was offering him $100. So that's very relevant because it goes to the issue of credibility. The other issue I think that really falls within the context of this discussion is the fact that Mr. Dinkins will never, ever provide a timeline for anything that he did. He's given.
Now, I want you to imagine this lady, and she did an interview. She had a thing like it was a classroom. She got boards up. She got the pointer. She got diagrams. She got all, like, it's just so meticulous. But I guess the issue is not when he shot, how, that he killed her, but when he did it. I just believe that Andrea herself, she saw more than she let on. And I honestly don't believe what she's saying because she was trying to protect him. Even when he went down to the station, she offered to go there for moral support. So to me, Andrea was ride or die for Henry. Ride or die. She even lied and said she didn't know something because she was at work, but she works from home. She works for AT&T at home. She works in her bedroom. So again, Andrea, I'm going to show you a video where she got caught in a whole bunch of lies. So I believe that Andrea saw more than she saw. Me personally. And she should have been charged, but they needed her as a witness. So you had to take a hit to give a hit, or take a hit to get a knockout.
Google Maps to draw locations where he said that he has gone, which was not a match. That is conclusive. Then we go back to the Impala, and let's talk about the Impala. When Mr. Dinkins presented himself to the Davenport Police Department, there's any number of areas that you could park right there in front of the department and walk in. When he was being interviewed by Detective Obert, he initially presents himself as having been dropped off. And then
so I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna do part 3 one day next week, where we can just really we can listen to the judge. But anyway, but long story short, the soil samples on the bottom of the Impala matched the soil samples of the place they call Credit Island. When he was there, he actually got stuck. He drove down and got stuck in a ditch. The machete that he used, they said it looked like it had been used on the branches to cover her body up. So the machete was used to chop down branches to cover her up. The gun, the revolver that was found, it was found in the lake. So they found the gun. The coroner said that the bones showed bullet wounds in the ribs, in the face, in the, I think up here in upper chest and ribs. But the point is that Henry Dinkins, this case should have never even been, because his mother, although I know she didn't do it on purpose, although I know this wasn't her intent, a lot of this blame does rest on her mother, because her mother, there's no way this guy, Henry, can display all this bad behavior, but you allow him to be around your children, especially your daughter. And this is what I mean by the culture, because the culture says that if a person pays for his mother's rent, but he sells drugs, it's okay. If a person sells drugs, but gives money to the church, then he's a good person. This is Black culture. And so because Black culture is so robbing Peter to pay Paul, because it's so do bad and do good to balance out, because there's so much of that, you almost don't even hold people to the right standard. You don't even hold Mr. Dinkins to the right standard. And the right standard is you got to earn the right to be around your son. Not just because you are his father, but you got to earn the right to do it. And we already know that Aisha said that he only came around when he had a new car or a new girlfriend. So he only came around to show out. That's it. One young lady that I read her comments, she said that someone tried to hook her up with Henry Dinkins. And she said the first time that she spoke with him or met with him, the first time they met, he offered her money. She thought it was weird. She said she didn't trust him. She said the first time they went out, he offered her money and showed her money. And she said it didn't sit right with him. So she said it didn't sit right with her to the point where she Googled him. And when she Googled him, guess what came up? He was a registered sex offender. So she goes back to his family, because she was friends with his cousin. She goes back to his family and she says, y'all know that he's a sex offender? She said they didn't know. So it's kind of hard for me to believe this woman who didn't know him from a can of paint Googled him and knew he was a sex offender, but Aisha didn't have a child with him. I just find that hard to believe. So something's not adding up to me right there. How do you have a child with a man who's a registered sex offender? Something's not adding up. So either A, she knew, either way is bad. Either she knew he was a sex offender and she believed the lie that he told her, or, because I know what he said, if she knew, man, it happened when I was 17, man. The girl was 16, man. They just got, I know what he said because he was 17. What he didn't tell her was the child was 5. The little girl was 5 years old. So either she knew and believed the lie that he told her, or she didn't know, and that's not good either. Because if a stranger knew he was a child of a sex offender, the police knew he was a sex offender, everybody knew except the baby mama. That's a problem. I know Andrea probably knew. That's why she wasn't shocked. Breasia like Nicki Minaj, exactly. Nicki Minaj knew her husband was a child of sex offender. So a lot of this blame rests on the mother, because the mother, it was her job to protect her children. And I know I don't want to pile on her because I know she's already feels horrible. I know her friends are telling her, girl, you couldn't. No. Again, that man should have never been around your daughter. He's not even a good parent to the son. But she's probably thinking there's no way Henry's going to do it if they're over his girlfriend's apartment, which is his apartment. She's thinking it's a woman there. The woman there won't allow this to happen. But your son told Andrea to let me call your mom. Andrea said no. So the woman that you thought probably was going to help, she didn't. She tried to cover for, she lied to the police for Henry. I think she's guilty too. But it's a sad and tragic tale. It is. And it could have been avoided. And it all starts with Aisha not being with Henry in the first place. Henry was a lot older than Aisha. Henry was born in 1972. Aisha was born in 1991. They shouldn't even been dating. It's a 19-year age difference. Age ain't nothing but a number, but it is when the man is a decadent man. It is when he's a child molester. It does matter. When he's a criminal, it matters. So 19 years might not be a big deal if he's a righteous man, but 19 is huge when he's a criminal and a low character person and a child molester. It's huge. And so Aisha should never had a child with him. If she probably will never watch this, but Aisha, I don't want you to, condemn yourself because you still got to live your life for your other children. DL needs you. He's young. He's traumatized by this. Absolutely traumatized by this. And I'm gonna play next time her even speaking about it. Your older son is traumatized by this. Your family's traumatized. My recommendation to you is that you give your life to Christ, honestly, because you're not going to find any peace anywhere else. It's not going to happen. Yeah, you're not going to find any peace. I saw she was with a young lady, looked like it might have been her. It looked like her girlfriend. I don't know, like it looked like a girlfriend. I don't know. But I know that this probably really traumatized her when it came to men. Again, I just want to say that you're going to need to go to Christ. Nothing else is going to work. I'm sorry. But your children need you. Your family needs you. And God can still use you. You still have a purpose. So don't give up. What is done is done, even though it's tragic, but don't give up. But listen, y'all, let me go to my super stickers. Cruise Missile, thank you so much. Always supporting. Thank you. Rena Bina, this is my first donations for the fire lawyer that will win your case, Blanche. Thank you so much, Rena. I appreciate it. I want that lawyer from Iowa. I want that lady. I'm gonna look her up too. That's what I want to argue on my case. I know once she presents all the facts, it won't even go to trial. It won't even go. Like she, but this is for the mothers out there. Be very careful who you have around your children. If the man displays low character around you, he's going to do it around your children. And it's just, I can't make it more plain than that. If he's low character around you, he is low character around your children. It's not a switch. Either he has character or he doesn't. Either the man is wise or foolish. Two types of men. So if the man is foolish around you, he's going to be foolish around your children. It's a guarantee. So, and I said before, I noticed with most of these cases like this, where either a child is harmed or the mother is harmed by a man, in most of the cases, it is a single mother. It is a single mother, and the child is not with the current boyfriend. So again, when you are a single mother, your dating practices have to be on almost a godly level, because you got to not only pick out the righteous man, and you all not be fornicating, and you all be dating towards marriage, but you also got to pick a man that's going to be a good father. So it's a tall task for a single mother, because she has to not only pick a husband immediately, but also a ready-made father. That means the man has to come in. He already has to have the traits of being a husband and being a father. So it's a tough task for the single mothers to find a qualified man. Most of these men out here aren't qualified without you having any children. With you having children, it raises the stakes. So I'm just saying that the process for picking a man when you have children should be ran through with a fine-tooth comb. Every I should be dotted, every T crossed, every stone overturned. You should exhaust your research of that man. Google friends, and you need to meet friends and family, everybody. Go through it all with a fine-tooth comb. But anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Paul says, Blast, this DA reminds me of the DA from the Christmas parade case. Some incredible work. Yes, that case was insane and fascinating. Yes. I'm going to say this. If you ever get in trouble, you want you a white female lawyer. I'm sorry. The white female lawyer, when they get on the case, I don't know what it is about the white female lawyer, but the white female lawyer don't play. I don't know. When I watch these cases and stuff, them white female lawyers, I'm talking about going by the book. I don't know what it is. Maybe something I don't know. But I know who I want for my case. I want this woman right here. Anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I will see you all maybe tomorrow for a live, but if not on Monday, definitely on Sunday. We're cutting through the culture. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you all so much. You know what? I may do a reaction tomorrow to Jim Jones responding to D1. I may do one. I don't know. Anyway, I love you all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I will see you all on tomorrow or definitely Sunday. Thank you.